All right, so I keep re-recording this video this morning because I just feel hella weird. So I'm starting the video by being like, duh, and it's hella weird. So I'm gonna start it normally. This is me starting a video normally. Okay. No desires, no aversions. I mean, yeah. Accept imperfection and you feel perfect. Accept loneliness and you feel content alone. Try to be perfect and you're imperfect. Try not to be lonely and you're miserable by yourself. Okay, what do all these have in common? So if you accept imperfection, you actually do feel perfect because you're not resisting it. Whatever you resist persists. Remember that one? Accept loneliness and you'll feel content alone. So if you're like resisting loneliness, you're like, duh, I hate being lonely. I need to go see some people. But if you just like accept it, you're like, all right, then you actually feel fine. You're alone, but you're not lonely. Try to be perfect and you're imperfect. So if you try to do everything perfectly, have you ever met people like this? They're like perfectionists where they're like, everything must be perfect before I release my first version 1 of the product. And then ultimately they just keep procrastinating and they keep being stuck in this like perfection trap because they feel like their first version isn't ready to release. Like the guy that created Netscape, you know what I'm talking about? Mark Andreessen. Super famous VC guy. He said, if you're not embarrassed by the first version of the product you release, then you release too late. So essentially he's saying, ship it now. I don't care if it doesn't work, just ship it and then iterate. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, he has this clip that I saw where he's like, the best advice for actually figuring out what to do is just to like do some stuff and then get feedback from that and then move forward. So he's like, when you're building a business, sometimes it feels like you're like trying to climb up this giant mountain, but the mountain is foggy, so you hella can't see what's up there. So you literally just have to be like, all right, instead of trying to sit here and plan my ascent, it's impossible. There's clouds everywhere. So he's like, all right, let me try to just start walking, and then that'll give you information. And sometimes you'll get to the edge of a cliff or whatever, and you'll see, okay, this is not the path, and you have to go back down, you have to go up another way. But doing stuff gives you information, and then you can use the information to adjust the course. And sometimes you have to go back, but eventually you'll get to your destination, hypothetically. And he's like, if you try to plan everything, like how to reach the top of the mountain before you start, you're never going to get there because the mountain is foggy. This is obviously a metaphor. If you're actually climbing a mountain, probably you should plan it. But he's basically saying like, dude, stop trying to like figure out the entire path from A to Z. And instead, if you're doing something that has an element of vagueness or like uncertainty, you can't plan everything. So you literally just have to try stuff and then get information and then use that to correct course. That's it. So how did I even get on this path? Wait, hold up. What are we talking about here? Right. Not resisting stuff. No desires, no aversions. Okay. So so we're talking about like accepting all of these, like if you try not to be lonely, you'll just be miserable by yourself because you're trying not to be lonely, which means you're resisting something, right? Accepting a negative experience turns out to be a positive experience. Think about that. If you accept a negative experience fully, doing that is a positive experience. But fighting a negative experience, if you're like feeling bad and you're like, oh, I don't want to feel bad right now, damn it. It means you suffer twice because not only are you suffering from the negative experience, but you're also, that it's an aversion. You're like, I don't want to feel this right now. So when we stop trying to be happy, we'll be happy because there's nothing we need beyond what actually is. The bar is super low, dude, for actually just being like, yeah, I'm all right. Like the bar is super low, but the problem is that we have these like either a desire where we're like, I want this. What if only, or we have this other trap we fall into on the other side, which is that like, so that's like desire. And then the other one is aversions where we're like, I don't want to feel this way. Shit, I'm bored. Shit, I have this bad feeling. Let me scroll on Instagram, right? Cute Japanese dogs. Have you seen, dude, my feed is literally just Japanese dogs right now. All the really crazy ones with like the with like the crazy grooming where they just look like fucking aliens. It's hella funny. So when we stop trying to be rich, we will live in abundance. Because what really is abundance? We're content with what we have, and anything on top of that is a bonus. So like this is kind of hard to, at least for me, it's kind of hard to actually like feel this way on a daily basis, because I think I'm programmed to always be like, more, how do I figure this out? Our brains are like problem solving machines. So we're constantly trying to figure out how to fix issues and like not be like where we are, but try to get to the next level. And progress is important. And I think it's probably essential for people to feel a sense of purpose. At least, okay, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. For me, it's one of the things that makes me feel a sense of purpose and connection. I'm like, all right, this, like, I feel good right now. I'm progressing on stuff. This makes me feel good. And I think humans in general, right? Like if you're progressing, it makes you feel good. But like, if that's causing you suffering, then it's kind of like, remember this in the back of your head. Remember the Buddha, the little Buddha. No desires, no aversions. If you have like all these desires where you're like greedily, like it's like the land of the hungry ghosts, right? Where you're like, it's like the ghosts with the skinny neck and the big belly, and they just keep eating and they can never feel satisfied. If you're in that mode where you're like more, conquer, dominate, it's like, all right, dude. First of all, this is an illusion. And on the other hand, if you're, okay, so imagine this narrow road, right? So on one hand, we have the desires where it's like you're stuck in that, like, I'll be happy when, or like, if only this were the case, then I would be happy. You're setting up these constraints for you to be happy and feel satisfied. And if you just like remove those and you're like, I actually don't need any of that. Actually, I don't even need this chair. I don't even need this desk, this camera, this computer. Like literally just sitting on a cement floor is fine. Because there are people that feel a sense of happiness and gratitude and total just acceptance of everything, where they're just fine sitting on a cement floor. On the other hand, so that's the narrow road, right? You're walking the narrow path. On the one hand, you have like all these desires and stuff that are distracting you. On the other hand, you have these aversions where it's like you being stressed out about the meeting tomorrow because you don't want it to go. That's actually a perfect example. So I know you felt this before, right? You have a meeting tomorrow, you're stressed out about it because it's like a performance evaluation, or you have to fire someone and you're like, fuck, I don't want to fire this person. So pick up the aversion there, right? You're like, okay, I'm stressed out about this meeting. Why? Because I have to have a confrontation or make a decision, or there's something about this meeting where it's like giving me this sick feeling in my stomach. Why? Because I'm trying to control what's going to happen, and I don't want this bad thing to happen, right? But if you think about it, if it's not the thing that's stressing you out, it's actually you doing this mind game in your head where you're like, if this goes bad, then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, I'm going to feel terrible. And like, if you just don't have any aversion to that, actually the meeting is not a big deal, which you know logically, but in your, you have like the parasympathetic and then the sympathetic nervous system. I don't know, whatever, you can look it up. But basically you're all like bundled up, your nerves are all crazy, you got a knot in your stomach and you're like, I don't want to do this meeting. All right, well, how about if you just chill and you realize that you have an aversion to something? And so you're not walking the narrow road, right? We're walking the narrow road and we're falling off into aversion or into desire. But like, if you just like completely accept what is, and you realize that like, you don't have to add anything extra to life. Like, okay, so you have this meeting, it might go badly, you might get fired, or maybe you have to fire someone and they're going to freak out and beg you to keep their job. But like, if you just allow that to be the way it is and not have an aversion to it, it's not that bad, actually. So you're, again, what is it right here? Fighting a negative experience means you're suffering twice. I remember there was an old quote from T.I. This might be wrong, but you know the rapper T.I., where he's like, he was having an interview where he like got caught with a bunch of guns or something, or he broke parole, and he was like, he had to go to jail for a year. But the way it was set up is that he had to wait a year. So he was free for a year, and then he had to go to jail for a year. And in the interview, he was saying like, they're like, how do you feel right now knowing that in 1 year you'll have to go to jail? And he was literally in the interview like, you know what? I'm going to do a year in jail, prison, whatever. But I ain't going to do 2. So what is he saying? He's saying, yeah, I have to do that year in jail, but I'm not going to sit here in my own mental prison right now thinking about that. Which, I mean, wise words, man, from T.I. of all people. Don't do 2 years in prison if you don't have to. Just do a year. Do the thing that you have to do. What does Marcus Aurelius say, or maybe Seneca? He's like, I always got these dudes mixed up. He's basically like, pay the taxes of life gladly. Like, don't bemoan the fact that you have to pay like actual taxes, even though some would say that's theft, but whatever. That's beside the point. That's a totally different conversation that I'm happy to have with you at another time. Don't like bemoan the fact that if you're traveling because you saw the Instagram reel that's like this beautiful location and this like, cap cut video version of like all the highlights of all the cool things you can do. But then really what is traveling? It's like you waiting in line at the airport, you having a problem with your luggage, you checking into a hotel where the AC doesn't work, you getting into a taxi and the guy doesn't speak the language and then he's not even using the meter and he's overcharging you. Like there's all this stuff that comes along that it's like the taxes of life that you have to pay in order to see a beautiful sunset for 2 seconds. You're like, was that even worth it? Like all this shit I had to do just to be like, I'm here, make a video. All right, cool, right? That's another discussion about how to actually let it land and sink in. Let that sink in, right? Let it land where you are and actually experience it fully. That's a different discussion. But the point is like you have these taxes you have to pay in life, so pay them gladly. But at the same time, don't fight the negative experiences, right? Like so the taxi driver screwed you over. Like it's imagine you have an aunt who's like coming to see you in Hawaii, let's say. And she's a grumpy old aunt and you're like, you know what? If I can just show her how beautiful it is here, then finally she'll break out of her mental pattern of always being annoyed by stuff and always complaining about stuff. And she'll finally see reality for what it is. And it'll be this profound experience for her. Well, guess what? For like 2 seconds, that's going to happen. And then afterwards, she's going to start complaining. She's going to be like, the service going over here in the taxi guy was rude and the service in the hotel sucked. And you know what? Actually, I'm too hot and there's mosquito. Like people just default to this like fighting negative experiences and constantly complaining and just finding stuff to be mad about, even in literal paradise. Why? Because they are not walking the narrow path. They're not actually present. They're either like falling off into desires or into aversions. So I guess what I'm saying is like, don't try to fight a negative experience. Just accept it for what it is fully, and you won't have to suffer twice. So when we stop trying to be happy, we can finally be happy because there's nothing we need beyond what actually is. We have these mental constructs where we're either like chasing something or we're like, no to this other thing. But if we just drop all that, then we're like, yep, I'm sitting here. I don't actually need anything. This is chill. All right, so no desires, no aversions. Maybe I'll keep it short today. I'm kind of feeling, I can do a couple more. Let's keep it going. What's the time on this? How much time we got? It's like 13 minutes. It's chill. We can do a couple more. All right, daily reminders. So this is like another list of stuff that is just like these little pithy aphorisms that I have written down here. Every day that is a day above ground is a good day. We already went through that one, but it's a good reminder. Put your needs first, build your systems. Okay. So let's say you have a business problem, right? Actually, this applies to more than this applies to life too. So imagine you have this problem and it's happening more than once. Sometimes people will ask me a question. Nobody asked me this question, but if they did, if they're like, I have this business problem, what do I do about it? Probably, damn, it is hot as fuck in here. What is wrong with my AC, dude? This shit's not even working. Damn. All right, it's cool. I'm in here sweating, but it's all right. Fuck was I talking? Oh, yeah. So, hypothetically, people will ask me, hey, Ilya. No, nobody asked me. What do I do about this business problem? And the thing I'll tell them is... Actually, what I should tell them is how to solve the problem. But instead, I'll just give them this like wise sage advice that who knows if it actually helps them or not. But I'll say, focus on the system, not the symptom. So there's all these business books you can read that I encourage you to read if you're building a business, like The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And particularly in The E-Myth Revisited, he talks about how there's these business owners that aren't really business owners. They're actually... these people that have this like temporary seizure of entrepreneurship where they're like, oh shit, I can totally build a business, right? And then they like try to do it. But the problem is that whenever they encounter an issue with their business, they try to solve it themselves and they don't build a system to solve it in the future because they're focusing on the symptom. So the symptom is that you have a customer complaint. And each one seems to be different. And each one is a paragraph long complaint and you have to deal with it yourself. And then after a while, you realize like, wait a second, why don't I focus on the system itself for how to deal with these rather than individually focusing on every symptom, every single complaint by itself? So you end up building a process for you or your team to handle that. And way down the line, you're probably not even looking at the complaints anymore because you're just looking at the reports that your project manager is showing you monthly of how many complaints and the severity of them and how many gift cards and recleans we had to do. And so you're so detached from the like visceral feeling of customers complaining, so you can actually focus and be at peace and make rational decisions versus getting a cortisol spike every time you get an email come in that's like another unhappy customer, another bad Google review. And since you're not focusing on the symptoms, you're focusing on the system, now you can just actually make rational decisions and you're not in this like frenetic energy of just getting hit with all this stuff where you're like, oh, I can't handle my business. There's so many problems. It's like, well, yeah, because you're not building a system to fix them. So focus on the system, focus on building a system that can solve the problem for you rather than the symptoms. How did we even get on this point, dude? I'm like going on a roll right now. Yeah. So it says, put your needs first, build your systems. So, I mean, building systems in any business is how you go from like for example, I see on Twitter or X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, where it's like, hey, small business owners, post your daily wins. I don't care if you're cleaning toilets or building a deck. Like post on here and try to like let's all support each other. And I look at these threads and I'm seeing these like pictures of people that are like, I cleaned the bathroom today, or like I built a deck today. And on one hand, that's kind of cool because you're out in the world, you're doing stuff, you have your own business. So you're like, these are my clients and I'm in control of my destiny. But on the other hand, a part of me is thinking like, are you really? Because you still have to do the work. So like, do you really have a business or did you just build yourself another job? Think about that. If you're a small business owner or you're like a freelancer, did you actually build yourself a business? Was it everything you wanted where you're like, now I have all the free time and I have this thing making me money? Or is it that you just built yourself another job and you're working for the most insane boss ever? You. There's an old quote that's like, man, I'm so happy to have all this freedom to be a business owner. Now I can choose any 12 hours a day that I want to work, which is kind of like, haha, yeah, that's true. But in a way, it's kind of true because most people get stuck building themselves a job, not actually building a business. An actual business is a machine, it's an airplane that you're building with all these functioning different parts that can take off and fly, and that you can step away from it. You're not, I mean, you are piloting it, but it's like, okay, this metaphor is breaking down. It's a machine that you're building that can function without you. If your business needs you to function, like critically, you don't have a business, dude. You have a job. Congratulations, you have a job. The idea is to, okay, so there's another book called Built to Sell. And I remember the thing on the front is like this dude with his feet up. And the idea is that not only will you gain freedom by actually building a business when you focus on it like a machine with all these running parts that can run without you, but then because you're forced to do it that way. Look, don't get me wrong. The reason why people don't do this is because it's way easier. If you see the email from the customer, it's way easier to go, bup, 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 I'm going to solve this customer's problem myself. Let me fix it for you, Mr. Customer. I'm so good at this. And a lot of people get in the trap because let's say they're good at sales. So they'll answer the sales calls themselves because they're like, this is my business. I'm the number one salesperson. If I hire someone, they'll suck. So why don't I just do it myself? Well, congratulations, dude. You're spending your day doing sales calls. But guess what? This is not the point of building a business, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. You may have a different opinion. A lot of people do. That X thread was a testament to that a lot of people are like, I actually just enjoy working in my own business. Who cares, Ilya? So I have my own job. At least I control my destiny. Okay, cool. Do your thing, dude. This is one person's opinion. But that opinion is that people start businesses for different reasons. Mine was to gain freedom. And it's impossible to have true freedom if your business is reliant on you. It has to be a well-oiled, functioning machine. So when you're working on your business, you're not working in your business. You're not in there like the the operator that's like, but let's make sure all this. No, you have to be working on it as an engineer looking at a machine, not as an operator inside that's actually like pulling the gears and like, you know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. At the start, you need to be doing that. You need to be doing all of that. But eventually, you want to build up the systems to where it's functioning without you, and then you can chill. That's just my opinion. That's just what I think is the correct way to do it. There's a lot of books talking about how to do it. If you have a different opinion, I totally respect that, and you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Do your thing. It's totally fine. I've tried it both ways. This is the way that works for me. Let's see. Did I wrap up all the threads on that? Yeah, I think I did. Okay. You got to hustle. Damn, I said I was going to stop this video like a long time ago, and hell it didn't. All right. Let's keep going. You got to hustle. It's not all pancakes. You know, a lot of people think business is just all pancakes. They're like, yeah, man, you just build an Amazon FBA business and you can just sell stuff off AliExpress for, you buy it for $3, you sell it for 10, and there's your profit. Take $3 from every sale, spend it on ads to get the next customer, and there you go. And it's like, dude, if it was that easy, literally everybody would do it. It's not all pancakes. And the problem is that people get seduced by a new business idea. I'm super guilty of this because they see it as, like Alex Hermosi calls it, like the woman in the red dress. You see this beautiful woman and she's so seductive, and you're like, holy crap. Like, you're like, okay, I need to go talk to her. But the problem is that you don't see any of her negative qualities because you're mesmerized by her beauty. And when you actually get to know her and you spend some time with her, you realize that she's freaking insane, dude. She's completely off her rocker. Like, she's absolutely butt crazy. And you're like, dude, this lady's insane. What am I doing? But you didn't see any of that. You were blind to it. And now that you're facing cold, hard reality, you're like, holy shit, I gotta get out of here. So like, yeah, it's not all pancakes, dude. Once you really intimately get to know a business, you realize that people romanticize businesses as this like awesome, cool thing where you took one big risk and it paid off and now you're set for life. That's totally not what it is. It's a constant struggle. And when you see content made by like, let's say some like 21-year-old kid that's like, I built this e-com business in 60 days and made $100,000 and so can you, buy my course. That's the business. The business is lying and telling other people how to make money. Now, okay, are there exceptions to this? Of course there are. I'm not talking shit about all these people that made a bunch of money super fast and now they're trying to teach you how to do it with a course, which, anybody I've met that's an actual legit business owner that's made a lot of money, at the very least, they don't put a huge emphasis on their course. They may have one in case people want it where they can just sell it to you, but that's not their full-time gig is promoting their course. So if you see somebody that's doing that, maybe, just think twice about it. Again, not talking shit, whatever. Everyone has their opinions on that, but it's not all pancakes, dude. And just try it. Just try it. If you don't believe me, just try to build any business and have it be successful, and you will see that it's not all pancakes. However, if you're one of the people that is super successful, I don't care if you're 21 years old or you're 55 or whatever, but you were able to successfully build a business like that defies all logic and just happens to just be an evergreen business that makes tons of money and you're super happy, hit me up and teach me how to do it because I want to learn from anybody. What I've learned from my experience is that just grinding it out day after day, trying to learn new stuff, trying to figure out what's wrong with your business, and just doing this day after day after day after day is the only way I've been able to be successful. The only way. It's never like one clever idea that caused me to completely change everything. It's just a slow 1% every day progression of trying to make it better and trying to make it better and build this system and solve this problem and have this be better and then optimize the ads on this and then try this new marketing plan and fire someone and hire someone better. And it's just this constant evolving process through which over time I've been able to build something. But it was never this like, I just need the perfect idea and then the execution, whatever, I can figure it out. If the idea is good enough, I don't even have to work that hard at the execution. That's never the case, dude. It's literally never the case. At least not in my experience. If you have a different experience, please share it. So yeah, dude, you got to hustle. It's not all pancakes. What worries you masters you. So if you're worried about some shit, you know what? I actually might save this for another one because I've been talking for a while. Yeah, it's like 25 minutes in. All right, I'm gonna call it, dude. I'm gonna call it. I got hella shit to do today. Just want to crank out this one, so I will catch you later, dude.